Today, this episode is going to explain how to stop ISPs from selling your internet history, keep your connection from your mobile devices safe no matter where you are, and as well, prevent even at some optional level your own ISP, not just your mobile carrier, from selling your data while maintaining all of your services and multimedia services at the same time at what you are normally used to getting. But first, my name is Steve Smith, this is TQA Weekly, and this is provided that the router in question is your own equipment, not your ISP's equipment, because, ISPs can override some of these settings. So let's talk about a few things. With many routers out there supporting OpenVPN and many mobile carriers not supporting unlimited data, as well as selling your data while charging you a really hefty amount for inferior bandwidth allocation, you might not be happy about the fact that they're still making money on your back, and you might want to have some way of basically making sure that they can't make money off of you. If you have a large enough allocation or unlimited data at your own home address and compatible OpenVPN router, then we can use your own home router as a VPN service that also makes sure that your mobile carrier can't sell your data because all they're going to get is VPN traffic, and that also secures your mobile devices in any event, whether you are on your own mobile connection or on a public or guest Wi-Fi system, one that you're not in control, because any traffic going through anything else is susceptible to being captured. So as long as it's within the VPN, even if it's your own, it will protect your data. Now, what are some of the benefits of this kind of VPN operation besides your ISPs and your mobile carriers not being able to collect any history on you, besides the fact you're connecting to your own VPN connection and not being able to basically sell your internet history? Well, first, you get all the same content you are used to. If you go on vacation anywhere else on the planet, because you're connecting to your own home IP address, if you're accessing things like Netflix, you're going to get the Netflix you are used to getting and paying for. Therefore, if there's a show you want to watch in Tahiti while you are normally in the United States or in Canada, and you pay for that service, you will be actually able to use the one that you're used to in whatever country you're in origin from, even if you're outside of the country. The other is accessing services that you're used to. Obviously, multiplayer aside, accessing things like Steam, iTunes, and other services like your bank accounts and other kinds of stuff similar to that might have regional locks on it, or might have regional detection to detect for fraudulent activity. Now, obviously, if you buy something on Steam while you're in a different country, they might flag the transaction or your account for possible fraudulent transactions. And other things like your bank account might actually trigger a warning or some sort of panic, as we can say, because you're not supposed to be accessing your account from a different place. Normally, you can prevent that by just calling ahead at your bank and telling them you're going to be a different country. But if you don't want all that headache or you forgot, you could use this kind of thing. You're connecting through your own router, meaning that your outbound IP address for them is within the same country. So that actually prevents a lot of issues. And that means that if somebody else tries to access your information outside the country, while you're still outside of the country, at least the bank thinks you're still in the country and your transactions should be fine. So what do you need? Well, first you need a compatible router, a router that has access to OpenVPN. I am going to be using Asus RTAC56U with the firmware, which is really long, 3.0.0.4.382.18991, or you know what, tqaweekly.com/se8ep21, and all of the images will be right here that you can actually look at while I'm doing this. The other thing that you need is a mobile device, any mobile device, or even a desktop device with OpenVPN installed. Optionally, you can use a VPN service that your router uses to hide all of your traffic, mobile and home. And it is important to know that that technique that I'm going to be explaining today does not place your router's home traffic outside of the country, but only obscures it from the ISP and mobile carrier. So while it may seem like a great idea to send your traffic to a different country, because that is your home connection, you might want it to actually be still within your home country, just preventing your own ISP from being able to detect what your traffic is. And obviously the VPN, if it does not log the traffic, that's a definite plus. And for those looking for a VPN service, just head over to tqaweekly.com/purevpn. Now, how does one set up OpenVPN on a router? Now, setting up OpenVPN in general seems to be like a complicated thing that's only been getting easier and easier with time. If you have an ASUS router, remember it's going to be right there, or other router that has the OpenVPN feature, you're going to have to head over to the menu, normally under VPN, and click the OpenVPN settings. You will have to enable the feature and create a username and password to go with it. Now, there are plenty of settings that you need to take care of. However, for this to work, your VPN access type is going to have to be one that indicates internet and local network or custom, so that you have access to this OpenVPN feature from the internet or within your local area network. And yes, it does actually work under both, but normally it's either local area network only or everything at the same time. Otherwise, all access will be restricted inside a network, which kind of defeats the project. Now, you also need something called a DDNS service, server service, because your home IP address can actually change as your ISP can rotate them. However, with a DDNS service, you'll be able to have an address that points to your router, and regardless of what the IP is, if it changes, you still have access to your router. Now, after everything is set up, you'll be able to export an OpenVPN configuration file. The application configuration file combined with the username and password can be used with any variant of the OpenVPN client. Remember, I told you this can actually work with a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, or a mobile phone. You're going to have an image of the mobile phone as it works. Now, to get it onto your Android, you might actually just download it into your Android. It doesn't really matter there. And if you're using an iPhone, you can use any cloud drive service like like OneDrive or Dropbox or anything else, and just open the file, and it will recognize that it's a OpenVPN configuration file, which it will allow you to actually set up an OpenVPN. When you're looking at those possible settings, you have a plus that you'll be able to click on, and that will allow you to set it up as part of the VPN services of your phone. You'll have to enter the username and password that you set up inside of your router, and once that is all set up, you click the connect button, and it will allow you to connect to your router. Now, furthermore, under the VPN settings of your router, and this is completely optional, you don't really have to do this, you can also set up your own settings, but as a client for your own VPN. Obviously, getting a VPN service is going to be important at this point that actually does not log your traffic and that is still within the country. And setting up that requires for you to have a VPN server, which will probably be an IP address, a username, and a password, and some other configurations. And if it's set up like OpenVPN, a OpenVPN configuration file for that specific service. Now, once that is set up, if you set that part up, all of your traffic coming into your network from any of the VPN enabled devices will be encrypted. All the traffic leaving, if you do use a VPN on the outbound traffic, will also be encrypted, making sure that your ISP and your mobile carrier cannot actually see what you are doing over the internet, which means you can do anything you want. So for those out there that have a ISP threatening their thermostats, if they're caught doing things, this is one way to mitigate their ability to see what's going on. After all, you are paying for a service, and they're supposed to be a blind, dumb pipe. Like if you like it, dislike it if you didn't, share with those that you think can benefit from this, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions for topics, email me at ask@tqaweekly.com or go to my website, tqaweekly.com, for everything else. And if you want to make this show better, go to patreon.com/tqaweekly and become a patron today. Patrons get these episodes 24 to 48 hours in advance of everyone else. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.